you were having coffee with me, I would be glad you made the visit. And never mind the rains, they're remnants of a cyclone that's dissipating. Hopefully, it should be nothing serious, though the sky darkens ever so menacingly. In some areas, I hear there's been non-stop rain. I saw a short story about a man who got crushed to death by an uprooted tree that he had been taking refuge from the rains beneath. People gotta stay safe out there. Cyclone Freddy, which caused devastation in Madagascar and Mozambique, was expected to reach Zimbabwe over the weekend. But after making landfall in Mozambique, it did not progress as projected and proceeded to dissipate into an overland depression. The remnants are now a low pressure system that will still influence our weather for a couple of days. Cyclone Freddy had received notorious record for being one of 4 cyclones to traverse the entirety of the Indian Ocean, the last being in 2000. It also achieved the second highest accumulated cyclone energy of a storm, with a score of 70.7 ACE produced over its 3 weeks lifespan. It was the first Category 5 storm of 2023. I had initially planned to have wash day and retwist my locks over the weekend, but then I figured I didn't want to jinx the weather, especially with a potentially cataclysmic storm brewing in our backyard. For those in the know, strange things happen when I wash my hair. If you're having coffee with me, I'll tell you that it's no surprise the government of Madagascar, Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Mozambique had been on high alert, emphasizing citizens to stay safe. Although I still feel ours doesn't do nearly enough to educate people on a disaster response, and simply advising people not to shelter under trees or cross crowded rivers, which people still do. Maybe they just think, what's the point? People never listen anyway. Our government had exercised some caution by closing schools on Fridays in anticipation of the storm. So when it didn't show up, people seemed to be disappointed, as if it were much ado about nothing. Various jokes about Cyclone Freddy have been trending, such as how cyclones with male names will disappoint you, just like men will let you down. They will make plans with you when you dress up, ready to go, they do not show up. Ouch. Some joked about how he probably went off drinking and forgot about its appointment, or maybe potholes kept it away. It is ironic that people will be disappointed that tragedy had somewhat been averted. I've seen people comment on how they will never trust weather forecast services or heed government calls on staying safe, since they clearly do not know what they're talking about. As someone who was actively tracking the cyclone, I was quite relieved that it dissipated without drama on our side. Others were not quite as lucky. Maybe it's just people's coping mechanisms that after being prepared for the worst, then nothing happens. So channeling the nervous energy into jokes helps. Or maybe it's how we are. We seem to revel in tragic news and suffering and such. I once remarked on how I don't actively follow the news because it's almost always about crime, violence, death, inflation, corruption, electoral fraud, politics. Good things never seem to trend. I would have expected more people to be sharing about dodging Freddy than complaining about its apparent no-show. If you're having coffee with me, I'll tell you that since that last cyclone that caused devastation in Zimbabwe, I know where to look up cyclones and follow their tracks. It's very basic stuff using websites like Cyclocade, windy.com, zoom.earth. Then when you do check an actual weather report by people who know what they're talking about, it makes more sense. The worst might be behind us, but weather conditions are unpredictable. For example, either remnants of Freddy or separate low systems or a combination might develop into another cyclone during the week, although that one is projected to move away from mainland Africa. But it's early to tell. If there are any lessons in this, is that we can't predict nature. Meanwhile, the sky grows ever so dark, serving as a reminder to still be safe and don't shelter under trees during storms and avoid crossing flooded rivers. If you're having coffee with me, I'll tell you that Nigeria had its elections on the 25th of February. The results are still trickling in. Sometimes they seem like they're going one way, then the other, as urban voters and rural voters vote along different planes. It's somewhat a similar situation to what we have here, and with 2023 being an electoral year, paying attention to how other countries decide gives us a bit of a barometer to how the winds of change blow. What's going on in your neck of the woods?